Welcome, Galactic family. As the moment for the great awakening of humanity approaches, more and more, the energy of the tsunami of love continues to intensify to assist them in their preparations for this wonderful event. I know many of you have doubts because you seem to be waiting for this divinely promised event long ago, as chaos and strife around the world seems to be increasing and intensifying. For each of you, now embodied as humans, there are many problems to solve before awakening can happen. It is a matter of recognizing everything that you are aware of having thought, said or done, that is not aligned with God's will, whether judgment, bitterness, resentment, hatred, etc., and the abandonment of any right they feel they have to recover their mistakes. Only love exists. You know that. Therefore everything that is not aligned with Him has to be released, and to be released it has to be recognized, possessed, and forgiven, while realizing that there is not yet one among you who has liberated everything and forgiven everyone, including themselves. They have lived in an illusory environment and, as is illusory, nothing experienced is real except love. Your experiences with love have been temporary and limited by your needs to be right and the other people wrong in your judgments. Judgment is an important behavioral issue for almost everyone and one of the most effective ways to block love. Love is all-encompassing, totally unconditional, and is always being offered to you who block or refuse it, clinging to your needs to judge and be right. Yes, many of you will say, but there is so much criminality and so much intentional cruelty in the world that it cannot be ignored and forgiven, because that would incur in your tolerance. No, it would not. Love does not see mistakes, does not see it because it never really happened. As humans who identify so strongly with their physical forms, this seems insane. But remember, you have built the illusion something totally unreal and non-existent to experience separation from God, from the Source, from whom it is impossible to separate, and have used their God-given powers to do so. They wanted to convince themselves that separation was possible and that they did not need God, and then use their powers to do something that seemed intensely real to them. And you have to admit that as you live your human lives, working to provide the essential elements for yourself, food, clothing, shelter, that the struggle to survive seems intensely real, much more real than the non-physical realm, where they have their continuous and eternal existences. The only way to move forward is through inwardness at least once a day, to invite and allow the love that resides within each of you to embrace them and lovingly return that embrace. A hug is a relationship, a meeting is one. It is essential that you engage with love in this way, embracing yourself. It cannot be given to you or to you, it must be given in an attitude of reciprocal involvement. Love is the nature of all, so get fully involved with Him, and not just when you feel lost or hurt. When you become involved in this way, you become more and more aware of your sanctities, your true spiritual natures, one with God, and with increasing awareness, your fears and the concomitant need to be right and prove others wrong, from yourself choose as victims, becomes increasingly weaker until they find themselves living in peace and without fears or concerns darkening their days. Your days are how you do them, and so you depend on where you choose to focus your attention. Often, they seem to be experiencing a particular mood or emotion by chance, arising and with which they have to coexist, until they pass. However, they make a choice when they allow their thoughts to arise and then become involved or refrain from engaging with them. And when they get involved, they color their days and feelings, and when they do not, other thoughts come up and then, again, make the choice to get involved or abstain. It's always a choice, but for many of you, the choice to get involved was made so many times, that you did without any apparent realization that you were doing it. And if they are often anxious, it means they have chosen to focus on thoughts that cause this anxiety. Obviously, they are unpleasant or worrying issues that need to be addressed that will arise in their consciousness. However, they do not need to focus on them for long periods, but only long enough to decide that this is the time to deal with them. Spending time in a state of anxiety, when they cannot solve the problem, just drains their energies and prevents them from enjoying this now moment in its fullness. Life is eternal, literally, a gift given by God to enjoy at all times. But the illusion they have built continues to present them with problems and more unreal problems, which hinder their appreciation. Everyone has seen very small children, involved in their lives with intense joy, in the way they are meant to be experienced. However, as they grow and need to conform to the standards set by others, this intense and spontaneous joy happens much less often. This is what I tried to convey to you many years ago when you said, unless you become a little child, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is here and now, and the only reason for not experiencing it is because they focus their attention on the illusory world of pain and suffering. If everyone would rather focus on love and joy, instead of the chaos and conflict that seems to be omnipresent, peace and joy would fill their days. Yes, there is a lot of pain and suffering that people around the world are going through, but the way to dissolve them is for them to be themselves, being love and joy, and not through a heated debate that encourages new conflicts to solve the old ones. Conflict, as is evident to anyone, can never, successfully, end the conflict. They are all beloved children of God, and love is the nature of all, so focus on your true natures and, as Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. The awakening of humanity is the change they wish to see in the world, because it is the awakening of the full awareness of their true and divine natures, the state of oneness with God and one with the other. Cannot remain forever asleep. In fact, they only slept for very brief moments, but because the illusion they chose to build seems so real, they seem to be sleeping for an eternity. Daily, go inside and enjoy the warm glow that love has established within you, where you reside eternally, calling you to awaken. This is how you will awaken, and that is the only way to awaken, because the reality is within you, not in an undefined place that you may have sought outside and never existed. Your loving brother, Jesus